The National Economic Council has unveiled the framework for the Renewed Hope Development Plan 2026 to 2030. The framework is aimed at consolidating Nigeria's reforms agenda and actualizing the $1 trillion economy target of the administration of President Bola Tinubu. TVC News State House correspondent Femi Akonde reports.
The Initial Development Plan 2021 to 2025, launched by the Buhari administration, could not achieve much. It was a time the post-COVID shockwaves pierced through global economies, and it failed to meet most of the key objectives, including economic diversification, infrastructure development, improved health and education, poverty reduction, and security. As this plan expires in December, the National Economic Council, chaired by Vice President Kashim Shettima, has endorsed a new medium-term strategy that will consolidate ongoing reforms, deepen policy continuity, and align medium-term strategies with the long-term horizon of Nigeria Agenda 2050.
The Council was informed about this development and the need to support the development of the second medium-term plan 2026 to 2030 to be named Renewed Hope Plan for 2026-2030. This will ensure policy continuity, consolidate ongoing reforms, and respond to emerging socio-economic challenges. It will also help in providing a coherent framework to accelerate job creation, improve human capital, expand sustainable infrastructure, enhance food security, and strengthen social protection.
The Renewed Hope Plan 2026 to 2030 is the Tinubu administration's practical roadmap towards a $1 trillion economy by 2030. The National Economic Council also received an update from the National Committee on Polio Eradication, inaugurated in December 2023. The pushback against the spread of the polio virus has largely been successful until the recent setback caused by the persistence of a vaccine-derived variant in the Northwest. But there has been significant improvement recorded in surveillance and vaccination.
The numbers are reducing, but especially in the areas of the Northwest that border Niger Republic and to some extent even getting down to Borno, bordering also Chad and Niger Republic. The issues of porous borders resulted to movements whereby you cannot control who comes and who goes out. As a result, that variant emerged, and we are working hard to see that we improve on our coverage so that we eradicate it and we don't allow it or any other variant for that matter to come up soon.
The National Economic Council has directed the Accountant General of the Federation to accelerate the release of funds for the next round of the National Polio Immunization Campaign to ensure a hitch-free exercise. The Council has instructed deputy governors to chair state task force meetings at least 2 weeks before the next in-between round activity campaign, particularly in Kano, Kebbi, and Sokoto states. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
My guest is Director Deals Advisory, PwC Nigeria, Mr. Wale Olusi. Good afternoon, Mr. Olusi. It is good to have you join the program at this time.
Good afternoon to you. Nice to be here once again.
All right. I'm looking at this plan. 2021 to 2025 was what we had. By 2025, that will wrap up. It's almost the end of 2025. And a new plan is up now moving forward. How does this come to you, considering the challenges we faced in the first batch of it, and now bold reforms are being, taken, steps are being taken to address challenges that Nigeria has faced for a long while? What's the difference if you're going to look at it that way?
Well, I think, medium-term plans those are typical things you get from economic planning team. for every administration. You know, when the Tinubu government came in, what many of us expected them to also put out there was some form of 4 to 5 years medium-term plan that would articulate their overall economic plan for the first 4 or 5 years of the administration. But I think what they are doing with this now is to consolidate what they've done in the last 2-3 years since the president has been in government, and to now look forward and say, okay, what do we expect for the next 5 years to be? Of course, that is in view that the APC government will remain in power for the second time. Of course, consolidating on the reforms that they've achieved, and to now see how they can really drive home this renewed hope agenda. I think once the details of the expenditure framework comes out, we will be able to inspect how they see this. But my personal view is that I'll be looking at how they want to achieve the $1 trillion economy, given the fact that the rebased GDP is now put Nigeria at above 200 billion. By how many percent do they want to grow the economy to achieve that over the next 5 years? I think anything above 7%, will be interesting, and it would be nice to connect that to how that will affect every other sector. Which sectors will drive this growth? What will happen to the agri sector, the industrial sector, the oil and gas sector, the digital economy that is changing everything today? It would be nice to see how we can use these kind of plans on the back of the reforms, because what the reform I've told the whole world is that Nigeria is now open for business. I think what this plan should now be communicating is the fact that this is what we want to do. Please come and invest and join us in this new growth or new Nigeria that we are building, and be part of our growth story. Yeah.
Indeed, that's a good one, because the $1 trillion economy, a lot of work really needs to be put in, just like you said, looking at our rebased GDP and where we stand at the moment. The banks are also being recapitalized. Even insurance companies will have to be recapitalized, and they're working on all of that now. So I think there's a lot of work along that line. But one interesting thing that I see in this 2026 to 2030 plan is that it's consolidating the reforms and addressing the new social economic realities. I think that is something to look at. How do you see government addressing the fallout of these reforms, which is what some part of the, some segment of the economy is talking about? We are getting the macro right, but what about the micro? That's the question, the big question.
I mean, that's a very important question you've asked, Tolu, because the reforms are good. The indications of what we want to do and where we want to be as an economy, the message we are sending out is good, but the reality is on the streets. When you speak with the ordinary Nigerians, the daily struggle, the economic hardship, the cost of living crisis, the pain of inflation and adjustments in, general prices, across sector, the bulk of the economy is yet to get over it. So people are still struggling to adjust to the new reality. I think what will be important would be how this medium-term plan, this new medium-term plan, will solve the problem of ensuring that wage rates matches up with the current reality in terms of cost of living in Nigeria, because that's one very low-hanging fruit that you can use to ease the pain. A lot of prices have adjusted, but wage rate has not increased at the same level. Take exchange rate, for example. We moved from between 500 to 700 to over 1.5 today. That's how many percent is that? That's a lot of percentage, more than 100%, if you ask me. look at inflation. We're coming from 30, we are now at about 20. So, but wage rate has not increased up to 30% for a lot of people. So that adjustment still need to be achieved in a way that there's ease in the system. So government need to use this plan to show how they want to increase the general earning capacity of the bulk of the economy, of the ordinary Nigerian, and their purchasing power as well. It would be nice to see how this plan will create job and increase the overall wealth of Nigeria. You know, the transmission mechanism of government policy into how wealth will be created in a way that it will ease the pain and relieve the economy of the, daily struggle of the ordinary Nigerian would be very important. And I think finally what I'll speak to that is it would be nice to see how major transformation in key sectors of the economy can be tackled. And I'll give you an example of what has happened in the past as an indication of what I would expect. In the early 2000s, when the Obasanjo administration came in, one big win that they achieved was the reforms in the telecom sector, the reforms in the banking sector, the reforms in the insurance sector. What those reforms did then was that it created a lot of jobs and transformed the economy from the telecom point of view. The banking sector reforms also transformed what happened in the capital market and took, resulted in a lot of, growth in the Nigerian Stock Exchange. A lot of people made a lot of money trading stocks. There was wealth creation as a result of that. And from a pension point of view, we're able to change the whole pension structure that we have in a way that national savings has now grown into what we have today. The reforms that we've seen in the last 2 years, they are also very interesting, but we've not seen that kind of transformation. And the stock market has also shown a lot of growth lately, but the scale is not the same. Wealth creation has not permeated the entire system like it did then. So I think those are the kind of targets, micro targets, that I think the government can, think about or look into as we, implement this new medium-term plan. Thank you.
So in your thoughts, are there any forms of quick wins here at all? Because job creation, food security, human capital, and social protection is the focus of this new document.
Yeah, so those are the right things to do. We need to definitely ensure that the security issues are resolved. That's one very low-hanging fruit that you can use to very quickly increase food creation, food security, because we need the farmers back in the market. We need to get our agricultural outputs out and cheap. Maybe government can also do something about cost of transportation so that those commodities can be transported from the rural community to the urban centers at a cheaper rate to keep prices stable at least, or bring down the prices of some of the key staples that we consume. I think those are steps in the right direction if they are properly implemented.
Well, let's see how all of this plays out. But in the short to long term, what are your thoughts with regards to Nigeria's economic projections, considering reality on the ground?
Well, I think I am very optimistic. I think the reforms we've implemented in the last few months, they are the steps in the right direction. I think what is happening in the capital markets and the normalization of policy that we've seen from the side of central bank, if those things are sustained, I think growth is expected to gain momentum from a GDP point of view. I think inflation is expected to continue to ease, from a price level point of view. And once that is achieved, I expect the central bank to start reducing their interest rates also, to also trigger domestic investment also as things continue to stabilize. And once you continue to achieve that, I think more and more foreign investors will also start coming. I was still on a call with some of them this week. They wanted to know what's going on in Nigeria. They wanted to confirm what they are hearing, if it is indeed the case. And some of them seem excited to come back. And they continue to talk about the potentials in the Nigerian economy, but they want these potentials to materialize into reality and not just mere potentials. So I think there's still a lot of opportunity for us to grow. And I think the future will look very, very solid if we are able to sustain some of the gains of the last few months.
Mr. Wale Olusi, let me thank you so much. Director Deals Advisory, PricewaterhouseCoopers. Do enjoy the rest of your Friday. I see you're ready for the Friday. Thank you so much.
Yes, I am. Thank you. You too.
All right, then. Well, it's time to see figures now from the exchange to wrap up the week.